The courtroom is silent, heart racing, breaths caught, as a secret bursts that can destroy the Brown family for good. When a concealed witness testifies, eyes burning with truth, Kody's world collapses in front of the world. Betrayal, heartbreak, and justice collide in the most stunning trial of their lives. And by the time the gavel comes down, nothing will ever be the same again. Hey everyone, welcome back to Reality Recap. The courthouse air is thick, as though the walls are holding their breath. The benches carry the weight of restless onlookers, shifting impatiently. The aroma of old paper, seasoned wood, and burned coffee lingers in the atmosphere. A fragrance that promises secrets about to erupt. At the front, under unforgiving fluorescent light, Kody Brown sits stiff at the defendant's table, jaw hard, with golden curls spilling into his eyes, untouched by his fingers. He looks straight in front of him, not even glancing at the women seated in front of him. Fingers drum the table, each beat louder than the previous one, like a drum announcing the approach of an impending storm. Standing opposite him, Christine stands with unwavering poise, almost regal. But her eyes tell a different story. Underneath her controlled facade burns a furnace of betrayal and anger. A woman stifled for too long. She doesn't have to say anything. She needs only be seen and heard, proclaiming war. To her right, Janelle fingers her glasses, lips clamped together as if holding back something too big to say. Meri sits there blank, eyed, but her knuckles go white with tension as she clutches the arm of the chair. Past Kody, Robyn blows her nose on a tissue, shaking as if she already knows what is about to be said. The judge comes in. A cracking gavel bangs for silence, immediately stifling whispers. The court is in session. The introductory phrase slices through the tension like a knife. All lean forward. The audience, the lawyers, even the wives, former cohabitants, now sitting there like enemies in a battleground of lies and truth. Christine's lawyer is steadfast, his voice smooth but steeped in conviction. Your Honor, this case is not about technicalities of law or finances, or splitting assets. What we present to you here is evidence of fraud. Documentation that Mr. Brown hid a binding legal contract while he preached fidelity and devotion to this family. A murmur ripples through the room. Christine raises her chin, not in victory, but in stubborn resistance. Her eyes dart to Kody, his face reddening with rage. He shifts awkwardly, his lawyer breathing urgently in his ear. But Christine's attorney goes on, striding back and forth before the jury box, voice booming through the courtroom. Years my client felt she was being lied to all. Night disappearances, mysterious weekend trips, part truths that never added up to a whole. And now, at last, the truth. A marriage certificate Mr. Brown never showed anyone. Not his wives, not his kids, not anyone. Onlookers lean in, the charge hanging in the air. The judge furrows her brow, drumming her pen, before the paper is handed to her. A soft yellowed page, sealed with the county clerk's seal. The room exhales, such secrets long buried, once unearthed, blow, and the Brown family is to behold the destruction of one spilled truth. Kody's lawyer jumps to his feet, booming with urgency. Your Honor, this is nothing more than a clerical mistake of years past brought back to shame my client. No secret wife, no concealed marriage. He waves an arm across the document, but the courtroom is not convinced, muttering and looking back and forth between Christine and Kody. Christine's lawyer doesn't interrupt. Instead, he addresses Christine kind but firm. Mrs. Brown, please describe what suspicions you held in the years leading up to finding this document. Christine takes a deep breath, the heft of decades upon her. Her tone is authoritative, laced with anguish. I knew something was wrong. He would disappear on weekends without explanation, come home aloof and preoccupied. I figured maybe it was family pressures or financial stuff. But when I dared ask him straight out, he looked at me and told me, "Don't ask questions you don't want answered." Her words echo throughout the courtroom. Robyn drops her eyes, refusing eye contact. Janelle blinks quickly, lips quivering as if she will speak, but not. Meri's face is serene, but her silence is ringing. If you were in that courtroom, whose truth would you believe? Kody's rationalizations or Christine's intuition? The judge reads the paper, furrowed brow. At last she pronounces, "This license looks legitimate, dated, signed, and stamped." Unless proof is presented to contradict it, it will be accepted. The gavel comes down a second time, finalizing the decision. The courtroom is filled with gasps, whispers, and shocked murmurs. Robyn's grip on Kody's arm is like a vice as she hisses through her teeth. Kody heads, shakes, anger and desperation drawn across his face. Christine sits immobile, tense, hands bunched together in her lap, staring straight ahead. But in Christine's eyes, too, there is a quiet victory. Not joy, not yet, but the muted satisfaction of a woman who has at last pulled the truth out of the shadows. Kody's attorney protests, attempting to stall time to come up with an explanation, alleging the whole thing is a fabrication, but the judge is not moved. "We proceed," she states. The air grows thicker as Christine's lawyer emerges for the second time, his tone low and measured. "Your Honor, the truth doesn't end in this document. We have a witness, someone to attest its legitimacy, someone who was there on the day this license was filed. The declaration is like lightning." Kody jerks his head up, eyes flitting between Christine and the crowd, searching for who will be the next to betray him. The wives tense, mouths wide open. Robyn whispers a soft prayer, lips shaking. Janelle could no longer bear to look, unwilling to witness the destruction. And Christine, leaning forward just a little, eyes locked on Kody, permits the barest flash of a smile. Not of joy, but because she sees the tempest brewing. If one secret remained buried for so long, how many more could possibly be hiding? Now, one is left wondering, if this letter is indeed real, is Kody guilty of betrayal? Or should the family write it off as an error? Let us know in the comments because the soap opera has only just begun. The courtroom is abuzz with whispers. After the announcement of the hidden marriage certificate, the crowd leans forward, mouths agape, eyes wide in shock. Some grip their phones as if to share the news, others head shakingly in disbelief. Christine stays calm at her table, neatly folding her hands, eyes fixed on the judge. Her lawyer leans in close, whispering, "This is just the start. Wait for it." Kody, on the other hand, is having trouble holding his temper. He fidgets, drumming his fingers on the table, at last slapping his hand down, drawing a stern glare from the judge. Robyn breathes hard into his ear, but he turns away, his eyes flashing with rebellion. The judge coughs. There is silence. This court will not be disrupted. Testimony will resume. Christine's attorney rises once more, walking deliberately toward the center of the room. "Your Honor, the report speaks for itself. But reports can be challenged. That is why we must consider not only the document itself, but the surrounding actions, the lies, the deceptions, the decisions that brought us here." He turns to Christine. "Mrs. Brown, please tell the court when you first realized your husband was hiding things." Christine takes a breath, gaze fixed on Kody. "Years ago." Her tone is even but not without feeling. "We were still together then, and there were weekends where Kody would vanish, saying business trips or meetings with church people. But his actions didn't add up. He was furtive, agitated, and if I questioned him, he would cut me off. Once he glared at me directly and told me, 'Stop digging. You won't like what you find.' The words weigh heavily in the courtroom, suffocating the silence. Robyn clutches her tissue, crying. Meri's lips quiver as if she wishes to say something but doesn't. Would you stop digging if someone instructed you to, or would you continue searching until the truth finally began to surface? Kody's attorney stands up. Objection. Hearsay. She is taking his words out of context to suit her story. The judge scowls. Objection recorded. The statement will remain for the present. Kody winces in dismay, massaging his face, while his lawyer places a hand on his shoulder, whispering, "Relax. Don't give them an opening." Christine's attorney is not fazed. "Your Honor, my client is not alone in her doubts. There were inconsistencies observed by other members of her family, and you will hear from them today. Before that, however, we would like the court to admit this license into evidence. It is dated, signed, and stamped with the official state seal." The paper is slipped slowly into a protective cover and passed to the judge. The room is stiff, everyone waiting with bated breath, as if the crumpled paper were a bullet in the chamber. The judge holds it close, lips compressed, eyes squinting at the signature. The camera of fantasy rests on the wives, Janelle stiff, hands clasped, face drained of color, Christine tight, lipped breathing quickly. Robyn snuffles pitifully, Meri white-knuckled gripping the bench. Kody reverts to rage. This is ridiculous. It didn't occur. I don't care what document you are convinced you have. This is lies, all of it. No, wedding. No, other woman, you are ruining this family with your resentment. Christine doesn't wince. She doesn't blink. She looks at him like a stranger. Her lawyer never even looks at Kody. Serenely, he says, "Let the record indicate that Mr. Brown denies the charge. Denial will sometimes make the truth only more believable." The judge leans forward. "This court will be civil. Mr. Brown, you will hold back." Christine's attorney returns to the jury box, moving slowly. "Ladies and gentlemen, picture this, a man who claimed to love his wives, who would secretly sign a marriage certificate with someone else. Think of the betrayal, the dishonesty, the manipulation needed to keep it a secret for so long. This is not red tape. This is an open sore hidden in the dark, now laid bare." He points to Christine. "My client has a right to know. Her children have a right to know, and this court will find out the truth." The quiet is palpable. Spectators whisper, some shaking their heads, others nodding in comprehension. The judge places the document on the table. The license will be read as evidence. This court will now call its first witness. Kody clenches his fists, his eyes widening in apprehensive sweeps of the room, searching for faces, wondering who will come forward. Robyn huddles near, whispering softly, "It'll be fine! It'll be fine!" but her trembling hands betraying her nervousness. The bailiff announces a name. The creaking of the wooden doors is a sign that the first witness is descending the aisle. Heads turn as one. Christine tugs at her dress, eyes shining with hope. The witness ascends the stairs, places a hand on the Bible and takes an oath. Christine's lawyer steps forward, a hint of a smile playing on his lips. "Please state your name to the court." The witness clutches the microphone, voice firm but weighted. "My name is Janelle Brown." Gasps travel through the room. Kody startles, jaw slack. Robyn shakes her head wildly, muttering, "No, no, no." Christine finds a private breath, nearly a sigh of relief. Janelle does not glance at her or at Kody. Her face is impassive, eyes locked straight ahead. Christine's lawyer leans in. "Mrs. Brown, you shared a home with Christine and Kody for years. You were there when this license was allegedly filed. What did you see?" Janelle swallows, her eyes darting from Kody to Christine and back to the judge. The courtroom is silent, holding its breath. Finally, she speaks steady but firm. "I saw enough to know this document is real." The courtroom erupts. Kody bangs his fists on the table. Robyn stirs. The judge bangs her gavel for order, but the shock has already set in. Christine closes her eyes. Her lawyer nods, pleased, and Janelle stands firm white, fists balled in her fists, holding on for the hurricane she has created with her testimony. But the true shock is not Janelle's testimony. It is what the next witness will reveal. Her words hang in the air like smoke. This document is real. The courtroom breaks out in pandemonium, gasps, whispers, shuffling footsteps. The judge strikes her gavel again and again, calling for silence. But the shockwave continues. Witnesses peer over the tops of benches, whispering wildly, eyes wide with excitement or incredulity. It is less like a trial, more like the finale of a soap opera. Except here, the wounds are acutely real. Christine sits stiff, throat constricted, eyes glassy but unblinking. For years, she doubted her own judgment, wondering whether grief and jealousy had gotten the better of her. Now, her suspicions are in the open. Kody, on the other hand, is a human tempest. Face red with flush, veins throbbing on his neck, fists clamped on the table. He looks at Janelle as if rage alone could stun her into silence. Robyn clutches his arm, whispering frantically, "Don't talk, Kody, please stop." But he pushes her hand away. His dignity refuses to let him stand by and see his family at odds with him. Order. This court requires order. The judge orders, reluctantly, slowly. The room falls silent, though undercurrents of tension still buzz through the air. Christine's lawyer, Mr. Hensley, fiddles with his glasses. "Thank you, Your Honor. Continue." He addresses Janelle, who sits stiffly in the witness stand, hands clasped on her lap, knuckles tightened. Mrs. Brown, Hensley begins gently. You've lived with Mr. Brown for decades, sharing life, children, faith, family. You wouldn't say something like this lightly. Explain to the court. Why are you certain this license is valid? Janelle exhales slowly, glancing at Christine for a brief moment before returning her gaze down the aisle toward the jury. Because I was there when he lied about it. The words are hammered in. Murmurs run through the courtroom, but the judge advances now, interested instead of holding back. Hensley continues. Tell us in plain language what you mean. Janelle swallows and nods. Years ago, a long time before Christine left, there was a night when Kody came home later than normal. His mood was agitated, restlessly pacing the room, avoiding eye contact. When I asked him where he had been, he growled it was church business. But the next morning, my voice shaking, I broke the news, a folder left in his car. There were legal documents, a license, his name beside another woman's. Gasps echoed through the room. Christine's mouth dropped open, her hands trembled, though she kept them firm on the table. Robyn's face was smeared with tears as she muttered something unintelligible. Hensley's head jerked to one side. And you stood up to him? He asked. Yes, Janelle answered, her voice sharpened with years of pent-up resentment. He laughed, called me crazy, said it was nothing, that I didn't get it, and then he burned those papers in the fire. Christine's jaw fell wider. The jury shifted in their seats uncomfortably. Even the judge leaned forward, interest etched on her face. But you really saw them with your own eyes? Hensley urged. I did, Janelle asserted, and what is put forth here is precisely what I saw all those years ago. That was the tipping point. Kody thumped his fist so hard onto the table that pens flew across the floor. Lies, all of it lies. He bellowed. You've distorted everything, Janelle. You never stood up for me, never had faith in me, and now you wish to see me ruined. The courtroom erupted in overlapping shouts. Shock reverberating through the air, Mr. Brown, the judge blasted, glaring down. One more outburst, and you will be ejected. Do you hear me? Kody snarled. Yes, Your Honor, through gritted teeth. Robyn quietly cried next to him, and Meri just sat with her folded hands staring, her silence being more forceful than his anger. When families break, silence stings more than shouting. Thank you, Hensley said, nodding at Janelle. No further questions. Kody's attorney, Mr. Wexler, stood up with a grin. Mrs. Brown, let's make it plain. You say you saw a document many years ago. You say it was a marriage license, but you offer no photos, no copy you saved, no proof other than your testimony. Right, Janelle took a deep breath, accepting defeat. That is right. So you are asking this jury to trust your recollection of a document that no longer exists. Her eyes narrowed. I'm not asking them to believe my memory, I'm asking them to believe the truth. A low murmur of agreement rippled through the room. Wexler flinched, realizing he had pushed too far. No further questions, he muttered, slumping back into his chair. The judge nodded. You may step down, Mrs. Brown. Although shaking, Janelle raised her chin high as she walked past Kody. He hissed. Traitor softly, but she didn't flinch. Sitting next to Christine, their shoulders almost touched. Christine smiled weakly with thanks. Janelle didn't reciprocate, but she didn't get up either. Who is the next witness? Asked the judge, shuffling her papers. Hensley cleared his throat, his tone growing serious. Your Honor, our next witness is not a relative. This witness will be testifying about the validity of the marriage certificate itself. Kody went rigid at once. His lawyer sat upright in his chair. Even Robyn raised her puffy eyes, fear flashing momentarily across her face. The court calls County Clerk. Elaine Porter to the stand. The double doors swung open wide. A woman of late middle age strode down the aisle, heels clicking on marble. Gray suit was tailored, hair drawn back tightly, her face unemotional but stern. Her arm carried a folder, which she placed by her side as she swore oath and sat down. The air grew tense, the feel of authority seemed to accompany her in. Miss Porter, Hensley started. State your position. I am the democratically elected county clerk. She responded, her voice firm. I've held this office for 18 years. He pushed a sleeve, covered document. Do you know what this is? She adjusted her glasses, studied it intently, then nodded. Yes, this is an official, certified marriage license filed in our office. Gasps ran through the courtroom. So it is not a forgery? Hensley asked. Yes, the seal, the signatures, the formatting, all genuine. The jury leaned in. Christine put her hands together tightly, silent, in prayer. Robyn put her face in her hands. Kody shook his head so hard he was nearly crying, saying, No, no, no. And whose names are on these lines? Hensley demanded. The clerk examined the paper, then said clearly, The names are Kody Brown and Celeste Harper. The name cut through the courtroom like a bolt of lightning. Christine's eyes went wide. Janelle's jaw dropped open. Even Meri finally looked up, her eyes narrowing with a look of puzzlement. Whispers coursed turbulently through the gallery, the name being muttered over and over. Kody slammed his fists onto the table. Though no words were spoken this time, only a killing glare, his face white, his jaw taut. Miss Porter, Hensley ventured cautiously, are you absolutely sure of that name? I am, she replied matter. Of, factly, Celeste Harper. That was the last straw. Robyn buckled, screaming as she grasped Kody's arm. You told me she was dead. You said she didn't exist, pandemonium erupted. Reporters wrote like mad. Onlookers stretched their necks. The judge's gavel boomed like thunder. Order in this court, she bellowed, but the harm had already been done. The name then comes up, Celeste Harper, the so-called secret wife of Kody Brown, or at least that is what she claims. Christine is stuck, her head reeling. Who is Celeste? Where has she been hiding all these years? Why did Kody keep this a secret? The judge bangs down her gavel and interrupts the bedlam. This court will recess for 15 minutes. The creak of the wood echoes. At once, the room explodes. Men and women jump up from their seats, buzzing, whispering, calling for explanations. Christine whips around to Janelle, her voice shaking. Do you recognize her? Janelle slowly shakes her head, wide eyes. Never heard that name in my life. Robyn continues to cling tightly to Kody's arm, wisping wildly. You said she was gone. You said she was dead, but Kody doesn't budge. Doesn't say a word, his face chiseled in stone. Imagination's camera lingers on Christine as she stands, her hands trembling, her chest thudding. Her gaze sweeps the room past the bench where the judge sits, the courtroom crowd, the other wives. And in this second, she realizes, this isn't merely betrayal now. This is about a whole double life Kody has kept secret. But what nobody, not the wives, not the judge, not even Christine, can yet conceive is that Celeste Harper is more than a name. She exists. She breathes. And she is going to walk in those doors. The courtroom buzzes like a hive. The reporters write furiously, cursing under their breaths as tomorrow's headlines well. Nigh write themselves. The onlookers' whispers swell, a tide of incredulity. The very name clings, smoky like the aftermath of flame. Celeste Harper. 15 minutes. 15 minutes of chaos. Old Christine sits tense, fingernails biting wood. Kody has done her dirty before. But this, a secret wife? A clandestine existence. Her stomach knots in equal measures rage and horror. Toe her right, Janelle sits forward, lips compressed, face inscrutable. Meri sits pale and silent before whispering, practically under her breath. Celeste, I heard that name before. Christine spins around, hoping for more, but Meri simply shakes her head and looks away. Robyn holds onto Kody like a drowning woman hangs onto driftwood. Her whispered words cut through the pandemonium. You said she didn't count. You said she was dead. You promised. Kody doesn't even look at her, his jaw set, his eyes cast down. When the gavel falls once more, silence reluctantly settles. The judge, voice commanding but with a hint of her own discomfort, clears her throat. This court will reconvene. Mr. Hensley, you may proceed. The word rises from the prosecutor with measured composure. Your Honor, the state would like to call the state's next witness, the woman whose name appears on the license. Celeste Harper. A ripple of gasps explodes. Reporters nearly leap from their seats. All eyes swing to the double doors. For a moment, nothing, then a creak. The doors open. A woman in her 40s steps inside, her heels clicking sharply against the tile. The room falls into stunned silence. She has on a plain black gown, her red hair pulled back, her white face set in calm yet grave expression. Her eyes scan the courtroom, fix upon Kody. And that is when Kody's facade shatters. His lips open, the color leaves his face. Christine sees the look at once, the look of a man overwhelmed by the weight of a secret he believed would never see the light of day. Robyn gasps so loudly she has to cover her mouth with her hand. Janelle freezes. Even Meri can't mask the sharp catch of her breath. Celeste Harper moves deliberately, as if burdened by decades of secrets. She extends her right hand, takes the oath, and sits down in the witness stand. The air itself seems to be weighted. Hensley moves forward. "Please state your name for the record." "Celeste Harper," she answers, her tone low but firm. "And do you know the man standing at the defense table?" Celeste's gaze scorches Kody. Pain flashes there and quickly becomes steel. "Yes, his name is Kody Brown, and I am," she swallows, and then goes on firmly, "his wife." The courtroom explodes, shouts, screams, gasps of shock. The judge bangs her gavel, booming for order. Christine's chest sinks in slow, devastating increments. Hearing it said out loud, verification of a secret wife hits like a punch in the gut. All of Kody's promises ever made ring empty now. Robyn bursts into sobs, burying her face in her palms. Meri clutches the bench so tightly that her knuckles turn white. Kody leaps forward, hoarse from shouting, begging, "Stop this. Stop it now." But Celeste doesn't blink. Hensley pushes forward. "Mrs. Harper, when did you wed Kody Brown?" Her response slices through the silence like a knife. "The 12th of June, 2010, in Nevada. I was legal. I have the certificate." Christine's eyes go wide. .201, the year it all went down. The year Robyn came into their lives. The year Kody started to drift away. And all that time, another woman waited in the background. The prosecutor walks slowly. "And why, Mrs. Harper, do you think Mr. Brown hid your marriage?" Celeste takes a deep breath, never breaking eye contact with Kody. "Because he was scared. Scared the other wives would leave him. Scared the world would find out." And her voice shakes but steels again. "Because he told me I was his future. That the rest didn't count. That I was the only one he loved." Christine lets out an involuntary sound, a strangled gasp. Janelle reaches for her arm, but Christine jerks away, chest heaving. Robyn's sobs grow louder, shaking her whole frame. Not true, not true. For one brief moment, Celeste's eyes soften with sympathy for Robyn, but then steel harden behind them once more. "Yes, it is," he said. He would phase them out. That in the end it would just be the two of us, that everyone else was temporary. The air in the courtroom becomes heavy. The jury sits in shocked silence, pens scratching on paper. Kody suddenly erupts. He jumps to his feet, his fingers shaking as he points at Celeste. "You liar, you are nothing but a mistake. You don't belong here, you mean nothing." The judge's gavel comes crashing down. "Mr. Brown, sit down right now, or you will be held in contempt." But it is done. His words linger in the air, venom dripping from them. Celeste doesn't wince. Her response is icy and clean. "Then why did you continue to return? Why did you vow me a future? Why did you make me bear your shame in silence?" The courtroom gasps. Christine sits up straight. "Bear your shame in silence? What are you talking about?" Hensley probes delicately. Celeste's voice shakes, but she forces the words past her lips. "I had his child." The room explodes. News people jump out of their seats. Christine's hands fly to her mouth. Janelle's eyes are opened wide in shock. Even Meri, previously silent, mouths. "Dear God." Robyn screams, rocking back and forth. Kody slumps into his chair, burying his face in his hands. "Yes," Celeste goes on, with tears shining now. "A daughter in 2012, he swore me to silence about her. Told me she'd never be accepted, that she must be kept concealed from the others. He came to visit us in secret. He named her after him, but only in whispers." Christine's whole world shifts beneath her feet. Her eyes go blurry, anger building inside like a firestorm. Even the judge appears unsettled, pushing her glasses up her nose as if doubting this was delusion or reality. Hensley addresses the jury, speaking in deliberate, measured tones. "Ladies and gentlemen, this is not just about betrayal. It is about concealment. An unpublished marriage, an unpublished child, and 10 years of lies. Kody's attorney bolts up. Objection. Objection. None of this is verified, but the judge waves him down sharply. You'll have your chance, Mr. Wexler. For now, the testimony stands. Celeste's tears fall freely now, streaking her face. I said nothing for years. I believed him. I thought he'd one day see our daughter. But he never did. He lived 2 lives, and when I heard Christine fighting for the truth, I knew that I had to come forward. Christine's eyes meet Celeste's. For the first time, she does not see a stranger. She sees another woman ensnared in Kody's never-ending web of lies. The judge clears her throat, attempting to regain control. This court will adjourn for today. We will reconvene tomorrow at 9 a.m. sharp. Her gavel comes down, but the room does not quiet. Reporters surge for the doors, witnesses yell, and the wives remain immobilized. Christine stands up shaking, her eyes fixed on Kody, who slouches, his eyes fixed on the floor. For once, the man with so many words has none. Janelle holds Christine's arm firm. Meri stands back, shaken and white-faced. Robyn holds on to Kody, softly weeping, and Celeste descends from the witness stand, her face twisted in sorrow and determination. Christine's breathing catches. At that moment, she knows this war is no longer just hers to fight. It is for every woman Kody has betrayed, for a secret child, for a hijacked future, and for the fall of a kingdom founded upon deceit. As Celeste walks by, she bends in close enough to whisper into Christine's ear. He'll burn before he ever says the truth, be prepared. Christine shivers, the words lacerating like ice. She knows Celeste is correct. Tomorrow the storm will rage on. The solid courthouse doors close behind her, but Celeste's secrets still resound down corridors. Reporters yell questions outside, cameras flash, microphones jab forward as Christine and others slide into waiting automobiles. But at Kody Brown's lawyer's office, there is anything but a broken mood. Kody strides the carpet like a caged beast, rage etched on his face. Robyn perches at his side, red and streaked with tears, fists clenching around crumpled tissues, praying. Lawyer Wexler slaps a pile of papers down on the table. She is lying. Kody snarls, voice low and venomous. She is distorting everything. I never technically married her. She forged that document. Robyn interrupts, her voice breaking. But Kody, the way she said it, the way she looked at you, it felt real. It felt stop it. He bellows, pounding his fist on the table. Robyn flinches, backing away. She is nothing. She was a mistake 10 years ago. A fling. She is out to kill me, and I am not going to let her. Wexler uses his fingers to push his glasses higher up his nose, voice cutting as a blade. Mr. Brown, whether you refer to her as a mistake or not is irrelevant. What is relevant is the fact that a jury has just sat through a woman swearing on oath that she is your wife, and that you are the father of a secret child with her. Unless we destroy her credibility, you are done. Kody's face turns red, fury distorting his features. Then do it. Tear her apart. I don't care how. Just do it. Robyn speaks up unexpectedly, her voice shaking but firm. We need to portray her as unstable. That is the only way to go. She is fixated on you, Kody. She has been for years. Get them to think she stalked you. Get them to think she made it all up. Kody's eyes narrow gradually, and a menacing smile spreads across his lips. Yes, that is it. She is delusional. She is nothing more than a bitter, unstable woman seeking revenge. Because I never chose her. Wexler leans in, nodding. If we get into her, medical records, finances, any mention of a dark past, we can present her as unreliable. The court will discredit her as an opportunist. Robyn clasps Kody's hand hard, desperation blazing in her eyes. We'll destroy her together. The next morning, the courtroom is overflowing. Celeste's shocking revelation has spread like wildfire. News vans choke the street outside. At home, viewers are glued to the live streams. Christine sits rigid at the plaintiff's table, jaw locked. Beside her, Janelle holds steady, though visibly rattled. Meri hovers along the edges, silent but watchful. Across the aisle, Kody walks in with Robyn clinging to his side. They exude defiance, but Christine sees it. the shaking in Robyn's hands, the smile on Kody's face that is too wide, too insincere. When the judge enters, the silence is palpable. The trial continues. Your Honor, Wexler starts confidently. Before going on, the defense will have witnesses to refute yesterday's sensational allegations. Christine raises an eyebrow. She sees it at once. Counterattack. The doors swing open. A woman in a crisp black business suit steps forward, introducing herself as Dr. Valerie Knox, psychiatrist. Wexler does not waste any time. Dr. Knox, do you know the name of Celeste Harper? Yes, she says assertively. She was my patient many years ago. Christine tenses. Robyn dabs away tears but smiles weakly. Describe her state of mind to the court, Wexler insists. The psychiatrist folds her hands. Mrs. Harper had delusional attachment syndrome. She formed obsessive preoccupations with men she thought she had romantic connections to. Sometimes, she elaborated or invented details. She kept reiterating that she had a serious relationship with a married man. On interrogation, she became evasive. In my opinion, as a professional, she was displaying obvious signs of delusional fixation. Gasps spread across the courtroom. Christine's chest constricts. Her eyes flick toward Celeste, white and shaking in the gallery. Hensley jumps to his feet. Objection, unfounded character assassination, but Wexler grins. Your Honor, the witness is a qualified medical professional. Her evidence is vital to determining Mrs. Harper's credibility. The judge pauses, then nods. Overruled. Go on, Christine's gut writhes. She senses the jury tilting, doubt slipping in. Celeste lurches to her feet, voice breaking. That is a lie. I never made anything up about Kody. I have evidence, order. The judge bangs the gavel. You'll not speak unless called upon. Kody sits back, self-satisfied, whispering to Robyn. She squeezes his hand and smiles weakly through tears, but Christine notices the flash of fear in Celeste's eyes. When the defense rests its case, Hensley seizes it. He circles like a sword. Dr. Knox, are you being compensated for today's testimony? Yes. How much? A silence. $10,000. The courtroom erupts. Hensley moves in closer. And who paid you, doctor? Her silence is oppressive. At last, Mr. Brown's legal team. The room erupts. The judge pounds for order. Christine breathes, a minor victory, but the blow to Celeste's credibility remains. When court breaks up, pandemonium pours through the corridors. Reporters converge. Spectators yell. Christine grabs Celeste's arm, voice urgent but low. They'll destroy you unless you fight back. Do you have anything? Papers, pictures, anything concrete? Celeste's hands tremble as she rummages in her bag, producing a crumpled envelope. It contains an old photo, Kody, younger but recognizable, cradling a newborn wrapped in pink. His face is raw, proud, exposed. Christine's breath is taken. This, Celeste nods, tears falling. Our daughter. He only held her once, but I insisted on this photo. I kept it hidden all these years. Christine squeezes her hand. Then this is what we need. This is the crack in his armor. Robyn's voice cuts through the hallway like broken glass. You won't win, Celeste. You'll destroy yourself before you ever ruin him. Celeste slowly turns, flames in her eyes. Perhaps. But at least I won't be living in his deceptions anymore. For the first time, Christine doesn't merely observe a shattered woman, she sees a warrior. And as the doors shut, Christine realizes the storm has only just begun. If the court subpoenas that child, everything Kody has constructed will fall apart. The courtroom is hushed. Hushed to the point of eeriness. Not a pen scrapes. Not a shoe squeaks against the floor. Everyone waits with bated breath as Judge Hillman leans forward, clearing her throat. Given the new evidence introduced by the plaintiff's attorney, we will hear a final witness. Bailiff, bring her in. The weighty doors groan open, and in comes she, a girl. No more than 16, slowly walking down the aisle. Her brown hair is drawn neatly back, her dress unadorned, but her eyes, those piercing, sharp eyes, are unmistakable. They are the mirror reflection of Kody Brown's. The room gasps as one when realization washes through it. Kody's complexion goes white, his mouth dropping open with nothing to say after. Robyn holds his arm so firmly, her nails leave deep impressions. Christine sits paralyzed, her heart pounding. It is here. It is happening today. The girl sits in the witness chair, tiny in its enormous frame. But when she talks, her voice remains firm. My name is Hannah Harper. From the spectator gallery, Celeste drops her head onto her hands, silently crying. Attorney Hensley stands, his voice calm. Hannah, thank you for coming. I know this is tough. Can you tell the court who your father is? Without hesitation, Hannah raises her chin and responds emphatically. Kody Brown. The words burst through the chamber like thunder. Kody bangs his hand on the table. This is ridiculous. She is lying. I've never laid eyes on her in my life. The gavel of the judge cracks. Mr. Brown, one more interruption, and I'll hold you in contempt. But Kody can't resist, his brow slick with sweat, his voice shaking. This is a setup. Christine's behind this. Robyn pulls on his sleeve, whispering wildly. Stop, Kody, stop, please. But he descends further, his voice cracking. She is not mine. She is not mine. The jurors watch, mouths open as a man unravels before them. Hensley softens again to Hannah. Do you remember ever meeting Kody Brown? She smiles. Yes, a long time ago when I was a baby. My mother said he visited the hospital. He held me. She took a photo. I still have it. Hensley pulls out a worn photo. Kody holding a newborn, his face gentler than most people have ever witnessed. He hands the photo to the jury. Murmurs spread throughout the courtroom. Kody buries his face in his hands, rocking back and forth. Robyn whimpers frantically. Kody, just hang on. But it is too late already. Hannah, Hensley urges softly. What was your mother like in bringing you up? Her voice quivers but firms up. She brought me up by herself. She said my father was too humiliated to claim me as his own, that he took another family over me. But she said I had the right to know the truth, to know who I am. Her words cut the silence like knives. Christine's throat constricts, her eyes stinging with tears. Janelle gently wipes at her cheek, overwhelmed. Meri even bites her lip, her eyes glistening. The jurors sit forward, clearly disturbed, as Wexler stands to cross-examine. His voice is icy, practiced. Hannah, isn't it possible that your mother told you this, that she instilled this in you out of anger toward Mr. Brown? Hannah doesn't flinch. Number she didn't need to. I see it every time I glance in the mirror. The gallery gasps once more. Wexler lurches, words trapped in his throat, but Hannah lands one final blow. You can deny me all you want, but I'll never deny who I am. Judge Hillman brings down her gavel, declaring a recess. The courtroom erupts into bedlam, reporters bellowing, cameras strobing, the gallery abuzz like a hive. Christine totters into the corridor, knees shaking. Celeste holds Hannah, both of them crying in relief. Kody bursts past, face flushed, hair in disarray. This isn't over, this is a witch hunt. Robyn follows after him, sobbing, pleading, Kody, stop. People are looking, please. But he pushes her aside, his rage erupting into every camera eye. Christine stands there, watching him depart for the first time in years. She experiences no fear, only pity. The following morning, the jury returns to the courtroom, their faces serious with the burden of truth. Judge Hillman clears her throat. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, have you reached a verdict? The foreman stands. We have. The room breathes silently. In the case of Christine Brown versus Kody Brown, we find in favor of the plaintiff. Christine's chest constricts. Then expands. Janelle hugs her tightly, weeping. Meri gives a solemn nod, as if recognizing years of suffering. Celeste clutches Hannah's hand with tight pressure, relief spreading across her face. Kody sits stiff, fixed on the table. Robyn succumbs to silent crying. Judge Hillman's voice booms. Mr. Brown, this court finds you guilty of fraud, misrepresentation, and breach of marital trust. You are legally and financially responsible for your actions. The gavel crashes. The sound is absolute, but not final. As the courtroom clears, Christine remains looking back. Kody slumps, muttering to himself, apologies, curses, or the empty mutterings of a man who has lost it all at last. Hannah strides by him, head held high for an instant. Their eyes clash. No words are exchanged. Then she disappears. Christine comes next, her chest filled with newfound power. For the first time in years, the future lies open. Uncharted but unrestrained. Outside, there is a sea of cameras, reporters yelling out questions, eager for scandal. But Christine doesn't have to say a word. The story has already been spoken. This isn't the end of a trial. This is the end of Kody Brown's kingdom, and the start of something whole,